Spring is here and summer's right around the corner, and this year that means two things. Number one, it's time to get ready to go to the beach. And number two, it means it's time to say goodbye to our 3-month road test vehicle, the 2013 Infiniti JX. I'm Marty Padgett, the editor of High Gear Media, and I've had the JX for about 3 months now, give or take, even while it's turned from the JX35 into the QX60 for the 2014 model year. No matter what you call it, we think it's a great addition to the Infiniti lineup right off the bat for its styling. To us, the JX is everything the Mercedes R-Class wanted to be, a capable 7-person crossover with great looks. The JX is suave and understated, at least until you get to the kicky D-pillar. And the proportions, they're just about perfect for a vehicle of this size. Inside, the JX is relatively uncluttered, and we're really pleased to see the lack of cut lines all over the dash and bright, clear gauges.
Now for power, the JX35 uses a 265 horsepower, 3.5-liter V6 engine coupled to a continuously variable transmission. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it basically substitutes for an automatic. It uses pulleys and a belt to simulate gears. Some of our complaints in the past about CVTs, about how they tend to put the engine high in the power band where it makes a lot of noise, don't really apply to our JX35. It's really smooth and it actually has enough power for a vehicle this big and this heavy. The JX's transmission also has 4 different modes. We usually leave it in normal mode because it gives us the best combination of acceleration and smoothness. There's an eco mode, but it's really only if you're patient. It really slows down the JX's responses, all in the quest to improve fuel economy, of course. There's also a sport mode, and we haven't really noticed that it cuts into fuel economy that much. It makes it feel a lot more lively. Compared to some other big 7-seat crossovers, the JX35's handling is pretty good. I actually think the steering feel is a good blend of lightness and accuracy, even though there's not much feedback. On the downside, it can ride a little roughly. There's not quite as much damping against impacts as we'd like, although when you're on an interstate, it tends to ride really smoothly.
One of the things the JX is best at is hauling. Power open the tailgate, and even behind the third row of seats, you'll be able to fit an amazing amount of cargo. And of course, you can fold the second row and the third row flat for a truly huge cargo space.
One of the best things about the JX is its driving position. You never feel like you're too high like in some crossovers and SUVs, but you're not low either. You have a good commanding view of the road. The JX's front seats are actually pretty comfortable. The seat backs are a little more supportive than the seat bottoms, and we think that's because this particular vehicle is equipped with seat heating and seat ventilation. It creates a little flat spot towards the back of the bottom cushion. You get a little Princess and the Pea action going on. We're not usually high maintenance about those things, but it is noticeable when you get into other large crossovers how their seats are softer.
A feature we've also found useful is the JX's sliding second row seat. It folds forward and tilts up the cushion to allow much easier access to the third row.
Now things get really dicey in the third row, at least for adults. The seat slides forward so there's a little bit better access, but as you can see, there's not a lot of headroom for 6-footers, and the cushion sits right on the floor of the vehicle, so leg room isn't that great and underleg support isn't that good either. For kids, it'll probably be fine, at least for shorter trips.
Interior quality is generally good, but the infotainment system is ready for a replacement. It can't even display album art during Bluetooth streaming.
One of the killer features in the JX35 is surround view cameras. We've gotten really used to being able to pull into a parking space, reverse into a parking space, or pull into the garage just by tapping on the camera button on the dash. It uses cameras that are mounted in the rear view mirrors, in the nose, and in the tail to generate a surround view. It's extremely useful, especially if you have some stuff in your garage that you've been meaning to get rid of for a long time.
With a price tag ranging from the 40s to the mid-50s, and our fuel economy checking in at just below 19 miles per gallon, it's pretty clear the JX isn't for every crossover driver. It's certainly been more practical than we ever expected. And we still think it's one of the best looking big crossovers, even as it fades into the sunset. Read all about our 3-month road test with the JX at The Car Connection and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Marty Paget. Thanks for joining us.